You ruined our lives. Get out. That's what my daughter-in-law screamed while my son stood behind her. Silent Dot, my granddaughter, threw a slipper at me. My grandson watched without blinking. Dot, no one helped. No one stopped them. Dot, so I just packed one bag and walked out into the cold. A month later, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. 50 plus missed calls. One message. Dot, Mom, please. It's about Dylan. He's missing. And that's when I realized they weren't calling to apologize. They were calling because their lie was about to blow up. But let me take you back, because before the screaming, before the exile, before the frantic voicemails about Dylan, there was a house and a silence that told me I was already a ghost in my own family. I don't even remember what I was doing when it started. Folding towels, probably, the way I always did around that time. Dot, and then boom, you ruined our lives. You ruined us. That was Trisha, my son's wife. Sharp, shrill, standing in the kitchen in her silk robe like a queen about to execute her servant. Kayla, my granddaughter, only 22, but already with a venom I still can't comprehend, screamed right over her. You had to open your damn mouth. And then Simone, Trisha's younger sister, who didn't even live there but acted like she owned the place, leaned back on the couch, sipping wine, smirking. Well, say something. Evie, you proud of yourself? I stepped out into the hallway, still holding one of Martin's t-shirts. My son, the only child I ever raised. And I saw them standing there like they'd rehearsed it. Trisha, red-faced, waving some papers. Martin, arms crossed, silent, not defending me, like always. Kayla, eyes burning. And Simone, the snake, waiting for the kill. I asked soft, what did I do? Kayla laughed, sharp and mean. Don't play stupid. You talked and now we're screwed. I looked at Martin. My boy. He looked away. Trisha shoved the papers in my face. Do you even realize what you said about Martin's jobs? Do you know who hears that stuff? And suddenly my stomach dropped. That phone call. The doctor's office. Routine check. They'd asked about household income. I'd said Martin sometimes. Did little side jobs, even though he was on disability. Dot, it wasn't gossip. It wasn't betrayal. It was the truth. Just small talk, or so I thought. But now Martin's voice cut sharp. You didn't think. That's always been your problem. From the corner of the hall, Dylan, my 17-year-old grandson, stood with his earbuds dangling. Silent, watching. Kayla hurled a slipper at the wall behind me. You've done enough damage. Get out. Trisha sealed it. You're not staying here another night. So I packed. Quiet. One bag. My coat, my pills. The folded t-shirt still in my hand. And when I zipped it up, I could hear them laughing, venting, celebrating. Simone's voice floated down the hall. Took long enough. I walked out. Past Dylan. He didn't move. Didn't speak. Just watched me leave. Dot, and into the cold. I went that you don't just end up hated overnight. That house had been strangling me for years. I woke up at 6 every morning, coffee, folded towels, wiping counters before anyone stirred. No one asked me to. No one thanked me. Dylan passed through, eyes on his phone. Kayla didn't surface until 10, complaining about life. Trisha swept in mid-morning, checking her phone, reminding me she wished the house could be quiet in the mornings. And Martin. Nights of work, weeks of back pain. Never answers, just silence. I lived in the guest room, if you could call it that. No window, just a vent. Closet stuffed with Trisha's coats. Kayla's extra shoes. I had one dresser drawer. I told myself, at least they let me stay. That's enough. Dot, but then came Simone. Always barging in. Always smirking. Always reminding me I was unwanted. Dot, one morning, she sauntered in wearing Trisha's robe. Hey, Evie, talked to anyone at the clinic lately? I said, just some insurance lady. Her smirk grew. Hope you didn't say anything they could twist. She walked away. leaving her words like poison in the air, and I foolishly ignored it. Days later, that routine call came. Household income? Who lives here? I answered honestly. Martin's on disability, sometimes does little jobs to help. Truth. That's all it was, but Simone heard me. Sat there, sipping coffee, smirking. Hope you didn't say anything too spicy. Government doesn't play. That was the trigger, because within days, an envelope arrived. And suddenly, silence in the house wasn't emptiness. It was accusation, Trisha's glare, Martin's avoidance, Simone's fake whispers about me, losing it, and laughter. Laughter behind walls. Laughter at my expense, Kayla mocking my voice. Well, the government asked, so I told them everything about my hardworking son. Simone piling on. Don't forget the part where she says, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. And then Kayla giggling. Why don't we just push her out? That's when I knew Dot wasn't about the phone call. That was just the excuse. They'd wanted me gone all along. The night I left was quiet Dot, no screaming. No begging. No drama Dot, just silence. Cold, intentional silence. They ignored me at dinner. No plate offered. No seat saved. I ate crackers in my room Dot when I stepped out. Martin stared at the TV. Trisha muttered, still here. Kayla wrinkled her nose. Simone chuckled, and that was it. That was the moment I knew. I packed slow, folded my few clothes, took my photo album, my pills, my envelope of emergency cash, left the spare key Dot, and when I opened the door, Dylan stood in the hall. My grandson, the one who'd never mocked me, but never defended me either. I'm leaving. I whispered Dot, he nodded. Once, like he already knew. I stepped past him, opened the front door, and walked out Dot, no car. No plan. Just me and the night air Dot. The place I found wasn't much. A single-room studio behind a nail salon. Paper-thin walls. A bed frame, a chip dresser. But it was mine, and it was quiet. I taped a note above the sink. Breathe. You're not there anymore, Dot, at first. The silence felt like peace. But by the second week, it turned cruel Dot. My phone lit up with calls. I didn't answer. Martin, Trisha, Kayla. Even Simone Dot then -VOICMAIL stat. And then the word that froze me. Grandma, please. He's missing. Dylan's gone. Missing Dot gone Dot, my chest locked up. I called his school. The counselor told me the truth. Dylan had said he wished he could live with me, that Kayla had called him weak for defending me, that she'd thrown his things into the hall, that Martin told him to stop being dramatic. He'd been shoved out. Just like B. Dot, and now they wanted me to clean it up. I answered Martin's call at last. His voice cracked. We thought maybe he came to you. You're the only one he still trusts. And then the next day, the unknown number rang Dot. I answered. Grandma? His voice. Shaky, small, but alive. I'm safe. I'm with Malik, but can I come to you? Of course. Of course, anytime. When I got there, he was on the steps, hoodie pulled up, duffel bag at his feet. He hugged me. The kind of hug that says, you're the only safe place I have left. And I swore right then I wasn't sending him back. 2 days later, the knock came. Trisha, Martin, we just want to talk, she said, eyes darting past me. This isn't a fight. Martin mumbled. They sat at my table like it was theirs. We're worried, Trisha began. About how this looks. To the school. To child services, I asked. And whose idea was it to throw his things into the hallway? Silence, Martin muttered. He was acting out. Said we were abusive. Sounds like the truth, I said. Trisha scoffed. You think you can just keep him? You live in a shoebox. Better a shoebox full of peace, I said, than a house full of poison. Her eyes narrowed. You don't have custody. You don't have rights. So I opened the door. If you were civil, you wouldn't have waited until your lie unraveled to show up. Dylan's not your shield. He's not your cleanup crew. He's a kid you broke because he dared to care about me. And if he doesn't want to go back, you're not taking him. They left, and for the first time, I locked the door on them. The next morning, I walked to legal aid. Papers in a grocery bag. Hands shaking, but voice steady. I told them everything. The voicemails, the exile, the way they treated Dylan, and I knew this wasn't just survival anymore. This was war, because they tried to erase me, and now the very boy they thought they could use as a pawn had chosen me instead. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. It isn't fire or fury, Sometimes revenge is this quietly building a new life where the people who broke you no longer get to decide if you exist. And as Dylan slept soundly in the next room, for the first time in years, I knew one thing for certain: I hadn't ruined their lives. They had ruined themselves, and I was finally free.